men are becoming so weak because they idolize sex, they put sex on a pedestal, and the quickest and easiest way to weaken a man is sex. And it's the dumbest thing on the planet to invest in women who don't care about you. And all of these OnlyFans girls, all of these porn sites, all these webcam girls, they're there to manipulate you. So the reason why men have lost all their masculinity is that they put looks and appearance on a pedestal. And if a woman looks like a woman that he likes, he will drop all of his boundaries and standards just to get her attention, and she manipulates you. And if you're a man who can get manipulated by a pretty girl, you are the weakest man in the world. You're the weakest. Whereas if you're a man who can stand strong with a beautiful girl, you're the strongest. So I think because men are becoming so weak to beauty and so saturated by sex and stuff, that's why we've got no masculinity left.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It is a new day. We thank the good Lord it's a new day. Thank God it is a new day. So good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. It's me again, WJ. Any lies told here? We're addressing a topic today. Wait a hot minute. This is the man's problem. Have you ever heard? It's always floating around. It's always being talked about. Men are becoming weak and indecisive. Weak from the standpoint they're not as men. Back in the day, people would even tell you, oh man, I remember my dad, my grandfather, he was a man. But these boys we have today, not even men, they call them boys. They're so weak, they can't make any decisions. And they're so indecisive when it comes to even making a choice about a woman. They can't keep their eyes fixated on one. They got to have this one. They got to have that one. Too many options. I've heard some men say there's just too many options. That's why they're not getting married. Well, till the day you die, you're going to have so many options. So you got to make up your mind. You got to grow up. This is a man's problem. This is the man's problem. We are becoming more weak and more indecisive, and we got to do better. Don't be fooled. You heard this lady. She said it best. Don't be fooled by all this OnlyFans and all this porn sites. They just there to deceive you. They're going to take everything you have and you're going to be a shell of yourself at the end of the day. Is the pleasure worth the pain? Well, I'd like to know what you think about this, because we do know it appears, not all, it doesn't apply to all, but we do see for the most part, men are seen as being weak or weaker today than back then, and more indecisive. Now, there's so many reasons, factors that play into that. The society is a lot more overly too sexualized. I can say that. I'll tell you a quick story and we'll go to the next video, and then we'll put our comments and just address this the best we can so we could become better people, especially men. I was listening to a Christian song on the YouTube channel one day, and the ads rolled in, and they started advertising this lady in underwear, almost taking clothes off. And I'm saying to myself, wait a second, what has this got to do with what I'm listening to? I think, that's the society we live in today. There are no limits. Everything is just all over the place. You can't go anywhere without seeing somebody almost naked now. Society as a whole has to do better, but we as men also have to do better. We have to discipline ourselves, because that is always going to be there. There's nothing new under the sun. It may come in different ways from back in the days, historically, but it's always been there. So we got to do better. Now, there are also other reasons why men are perceived as being weak and indecisive, because not all the blame goes to the man. Sometimes men just decide to take a back seat because they just don't want to deal with all of that shenanigans. Well, take a look at this next video, and please let us know if you think this lady is right with what she's saying. Take a look.
Women today are a lot more aggressive. Mm-hmm. We have become what I call men in skirts. Mm-hmm. We are so aggressive, so demanding, so unaware, really. We think we got it going on, but women really aren't aware of their power because our power as women is silent. I find women to be mean as hell. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Really? Oh my
yes.
gosh.
See, I'm an alpha woman, so I'm straightforward too.
Yeah.
But I'm not mean.
Okay. Are you aggressive?
No, I'm assertive.
Okay.
I'm not aggressive.
What's the difference?
Well, first of all, your intention. In assertiveness, it's about dominion and accomplishing a particular thing. And aggressive, it's about control and getting what you want.
Wow. She says women today have become more aggressive. Any lies told? Could that be the reason why men appear to be weak and indecisive? Because a lot of these women, most of them, have taken up roles and tasks that weren't meant for them. You let your man be the man, let him lead. Now, I know you say, oh, well, he's not able to, blah, blah, blah. What I'd like to say to that, especially those in marriage, in a marriage setting, where you say, oh, well, he's not leading, he's not a good leader, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, might I just stop you for a second and tell you, that is a reflection on your choice as well. You made a bad decision, so to speak. You picked a bad leader. So you can't put the total blame on that man for being a bad leader, as you spoke, or as you say, because you chose to marry a bad leader. So now tell me, who is at fault? He asked you to marry him. You didn't ask him, I hope not. He asked you to marry him. So did you do your homework? So you accepted to be married to a bad leader, and now you are now complaining. But I totally agree with this lady. They've become more aggressive, and for that reason, most men, they like their peace. They just take it a step back. It's not that they can lead or fight their way through. Sometimes most men just think, what's the point? I'm not going to get into a fight with you. Do what you want to do. And I always say, the time you really should be concerned about your man is when he's let go. He doesn't complain about anything. You don't get into any disagreement. He just lets you do whatever you want to do. That's the time to be worried. If you're having some disagreements, because he cares. If you button heads, it's because he cares. The moment he's just silent and you think, oh, I trained him well, he doesn't say anything, that's the moment to be concerned. I'll tell you a quick story again, and then we'll go to the last video and let this man just speak. There was this guy, he was married to this lady, and, you know, she has her friends that come to the house whenever they want, hang out, chill. He knows her friends. They know him. But over time, they noticed he wasn't saying much. And her friends will come to the house and say, hey, you trained your man. I want a man like that. He's so subservient. He's submissive. He doesn't say a word. You tell him what to do. He does it. He's quiet. You notice I'm laughing. The reason was, whenever he's around this wife, he's just quiet. He's given up. However, he had his little side chick. Now, if you know me well, I'm not condoning that. That is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. That's not what I'm saying. Pay attention now. Read between the lines. I'm telling you, when your man is quiet, not saying anything, that's when you want to be concerned. Because men are born, created by God to lead. Now, he can, at some point, relinquish some tasks and roles to you to lead, because part of leadership is knowing when and how to delegate, right? and you be a support system. But going back to that story, that was the reason. He had his side chick where he feels like he's being a man. He feels like a man around her, and then he comes home and is just quiet. Obviously, you know how the story ended. He came all out. They found out. They had to go through a divorce. He's now with that side chick. And the other lady, I don't know what she's doing now. But are men becoming weak and indecisive? And why is that? Why does it appear so? One of the reasons, I think men, we have to be more disciplined in this area of sex. Men, let's zip it up. Don't blame the woman and say she made you do it. No. Let's control ourselves. Wait until marriage. Believe you me, you will be thankful and you will thank me later. Wait till you find that right one you're committed to, and then you've got your lifetime to do it. Moving from one lady to the other is not the best. You're going to hurt yourself. It takes a lot away from you. Your finances, your mind, your level of thinking. You're not as sharp as you should be. You open yourself up to diseases that you may never come out of. And the other day, actually, I was watching, I can't remember, on YouTube now, another brother that I follow. And he was talking about this flesh-eating diseases floating around by virtue of people having and sleeping with each other. Flesh-eating diseases. Man, I saw that. I was like, my body felt like something was creeping on it. That is dangerous. Back in the days, you could get away with certain things, but I think today it's a lot more. We got to be more careful. You sleep around now, you may never make it back. So the best thing, the best antidote to all of this, from a spiritual standpoint, from a physical standpoint, not opening yourself up to any disease, where you can have peace of mind, find yourself a woman. Be decisive. Find yourself a woman and marry her and stay committed to her. Saying, oh, there are too many options. No. There aren't too many options. You think there are too many options. It's all, find yourself one and make that. The difference between a boy and a man, a boy will sleep around with 1,000 women. But a man can make a one woman feel special 1,000 ways, 1,000 times. Big difference. Let's go to this last video. Let's allow him to speak, and hopefully it'll help in this area where we think men are weak, how women can help us and help men to be stronger and more decisive and be a man. Well, I'll say this before I go. One way you can help us women, I guess, you all look alike. Most of you are looking the same way. You dress the same way. You use the same makeup. You're buying everything now. We don't even know what's real anymore. Can you just be yourselves, please? We like the uniqueness. We want to be able to identify you all for who you are. You all look the same. That's a problem for us. Please, I'm begging you. Please, can we cut that down a little bit and be yourself more? We want to see who you really are. Hey, brothers, help me out here. Don't leave me hanging. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Please. But, brothers, we got to be more decisive and we got to get stronger. Take a look at this.
There's a couple in our church in New Orleans that most people would consider the odd couple. This is why. She is a medical doctor. He is a construction worker. She works in the hospital with patients all day. He works in building houses and buildings. And someone asked her, how could she submit to a man who made substantially less money than she did? And like a grown woman, get what she said. She said, I have never judged my husband, by the size.
About the size. What are you thinking? I'm looking at you. I know what I think you were thinking. Let's just go on. I was just messing with you.
Of his purse or his pocket, but rather by the size of his purpose in my life. By the size of his passion for me.
Wisdom here.
She says, I've never judged him by what he had in his pocket, but rather what he had in his heart. She said, yeah, that's true. I make probably 6 times the money my husband makes. My husband has never been able to match my money, but guess what? He has always been able to match my grind. She says, I have never found myself trying harder than him. I have never found myself working harder than him. I have never found myself loving harder than him. And that's why I'm able to submit and call this man who works in construction my husband. She said to me, she said, Pastor, my husband is not a man in my house. He is the man of my house.
Wow.
Because he's earned that position. I want to tell you, a lot of folk are missing great people because you're so busy looking at money, you forget about meaning. You're so busy looking at pocket and purse that you forget about purpose. Listen, you will always be able to find somebody that can afford you. But you know what the hard thing is? Finding somebody that has the capacity to value you. Because a person can afford you and still be disrespectful. A person can afford you and still talk down to you. A person can afford you and still misuse you. But when they value you, you have found a gem. Listen, don't you miss a dollar because you're chasing dimes. Dimes are always shiny. And we love the shine. Well, he has this or she has that. Dollars are not as pretty, but guess what? They hold more value. Choose folk that have value, not just folk who have shine.
Wow. When I listen to people like this, I just have to just soak it in, be quiet, and let it do what it do. I've got nothing else. In closing, in summary, before we say a man is weak and indecisive, can we look at the factors around him? Are we being supportive of that man? Are we allowing him to thrive in his manhood, in being a man? Because most men, if you give them the right tools, they will thrive as men. They will lead as men. They will make the right decisions as men. Men, however, we have to do better. We have to be more disciplined, especially in the areas of sex, who we're hanging with, what we're doing with our time. And most importantly, we want to be very, very serious with our faith in God, because he holds it all together for us. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you think. I'll be coming back with more pieces. Thanks for hanging with me. I really want to know what you guys think about this. What are your perspectives, both men and women? Please drop in the comment section below. And you know how we like to close it out. We just like to remind ourselves that we always, always, always remember we've got one life with many seasons. God bless you. And I'll see you soon. You take care now. Bye for now.